The Girl and the Frog. A wise person once said that not all stories are about princesses, Little Red Riding Hoods, Romeos or Juliets. Some don't feature villains, witches or wizards. And in this one, there are no castles or crowns, or at least that's what it seems. Since this isn't just any story, I won't begin by saying, once upon a time, about a lost girl in a medieval village. How did she get lost? Fine, if you stay for a while, I'll tell you. As you know, in small medieval villages, most people worked in the fields, although there were also blacksmiths and merchants. However, in this village, there were no kings or queens. Everyone was equal and lived in harmony. The girl, walking lost through the streets, saw the blacksmith shoeing a beautiful grey horse and the spinner carding the wool from her freshly sheared sheep. As she strolled along, the smell of freshly baked bread led her to a round oven, right next to the baker's stall. A loud growl came from her stomach. No, don't think she had swallowed an ogre. She was simply hungry. So she approached the woman and said,
"Excuse me, could you give me a freshly baked bun? I can't pay for it now as all my money is in a piggy bank at home."
The woman looked at her, puzzled, not because of her colourful clothes, but because she didn't understand anything the girl was saying.
Wachi new?
Replied the baker.
"I'm sorry, I don't understand,"
said the girl.
Wachi you.
Repeated the woman. Seeing that it was impossible to understand what she was saying, the girl approached a man passing by and said,
"Excuse me, could you tell this lady to give me a freshly baked bun?"
The man also looked at her strangely.
Ajo aji ajunyu,
he responded, offering her a glass of yellow water. It had turned into a nightmare. No one understood her, and she couldn't understand anyone. Another curious man approached to see what was going on.
Lulaolopu,
he said to her. But the girl still didn't understand a word. The baker, who had left, returned with another glass of yellow water and offered it to the girl.
"No, thank you. I only drink water without colours,"
she said, smiling so as not to offend the woman by rejecting the drink. Realising she wouldn't be able to communicate with them, she continued walking through the village. The streets were getting narrower and steeper, looking like a maze. Suddenly, she arrived at what seemed to be the village square, where there was a fountain in the centre. Thirsty from all the walking, she rushed toward it. Just as she was about to drink,
"I wouldn't do that,"
said a small voice.
"Who said that?"
asked the girl, looking around.
"I told you I wouldn't do that."
She then looked at the fountain and saw a funny frog sitting on a leaf.
"Did you say that?"
asked the girl.
"Of course I did. Who else? If you drink from the fountain, you will start speaking like them, and you'll never be able to go back home,"
answered the frog.
"Do you know how I can go back home?"
asked the girl, surprised.
"Yes, but for me to help you, you'll first have to help me,"
said the frog. Without hesitation, the girl replied,
"Okay."
"I've forgotten something, but I can't remember what. You'll have to find the truth tree. When you find it, ask it what I've forgotten and bring me the answer. That's all I know."
The girl searched the entire village, asking every tree she saw, but none spoke or gave her the answer. She was about to cross the bridge to leave the village, thinking the frog had tricked her, when she spotted a solitary tree in the distance. There were no houses or other trees around it. She approached it and asked,
"Are you the truth tree?"
You'll have to tell me that. Answer me this. Am I one-eyed or crooked?
"To me, you're crooked,"
the girl quickly answered.
Is that the truth? Are you sure? You could ask that man over there.
"But he won't understand me."
Don't worry, he'll understand you.
"Excuse me, sir, could you come here?"
the girl asked the man. Amazingly, the man approached, and the girl asked him what the tree had asked.
"Would you say the tree is one-eyed or crooked?"
To me, girl, the whole world is crooked. So that tree you mentioned is completely one-eyed.
With that, the man turned away, and the girl saw that he had a black patch over his right eye. Then, without saying more, the man continued on his way.
Well, what do you say now? Am I one-eyed or crooked?
asked the tree again. The girl thought for a moment. She knew that her answer would determine whether the tree would give her the information the frog was waiting for, and if she succeeded, the frog would help her get back home.
It depends.
Depends on what?
Asked the tree, intrigued.
It depends on the eyes you use to look. To me, the truth is that you're crooked, but to someone else, you're one-eyed. It all depends on the eyes you use.
Exactly. That is your truth. Tell the frog to listen to its heart. It will tell him what he has forgotten.
The girl ran back toward the square. That maze of steep streets seemed endless. But no, she was an observant girl, and though the path was complicated, she found the square where the frog was waiting.
What did the truth tree tell you?
Asked the frog impatiently.
It says you should listen to your heart because it has the answer.
The frog looked at her in surprise.
How can I listen to it if I can't reach it?
It said, stretching its neck in a funny way. It looked like a contortionist frog.
Would you like me to help you?
Yes, please.
Answered the frog. The girl gently took it in her hands and placed her ear close to its chest. At first, she only heard a faint but as she got closer, she began to hear, my, door, ters, my, door, ters, murmured the frog's heart. Gradually, the words became clearer.
My daughters, my princesses.
The girl suddenly shouted. She had clearly heard the words. The frog made a big leap, escaping from the girl's hands. Its body began to transform, surrounded by a bright light that blinded everything around her. The girl closed her eyes because of the brightness, and when the light faded, the frog was no longer there. Only a king stood before her.
Thank you, my friend. Now I know what I had forgotten. I had forgotten that I am a king, and that my 2 princesses are waiting for me in my palace. Now you can drink this water,
he said, showing her a glass of the same yellow water the villagers had offered earlier.
Drink it. When you wake up, it will all have been a dream, and you'll be back home.
Thank you, King.
The girl said goodbye, taking the glass and sipping it slowly. Her eyelids started to feel heavy, her legs grew weak, and her body floated. In the distance, she heard a voice.
Come back whenever you want.
It was no longer the voice of the frog, but that of the newly transformed king. A deafening sound made her body stop floating, and she fell onto a soft surface. It felt like a mattress. She opened one eye. Yes, it was the alarm clock. She was in her room, in her bed. The journey had ended. She was finally home. That day, our girl woke up with a big smile, because she knew that this wasn't just a story, but a dream where she had helped a real king find his princesses. And since this isn't just any story, I won't say, the end, I'll just say, smile, if you liked it.